Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm going to discuss my 3 winners from the Watches and Wonders releases this past weekend. The 3 brands that I think released the best watches, and actually my number 1 pick is a little surprising, especially to me. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. I am wearing the H. Moser Endeavor Venturer Concept, a bright watch for a bright day. I don't know, every time I wear this one, it makes me feel good. Also, guys, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com. A bunch of new watches in stock today. We got a mid-90s Rolex Datejust with a very cool silver cream bezel, vintage flair, but with modern technology. A very interesting brand new Reverso Day-Night, a Breitling B01, an actually very interesting Daniel Jean Richard with a GP movement and a Moonphase retrograde seconds with a list price of $11,000, and we're basically selling it for 20 cents on the dollar, brand new. All that and more at delraywatch.com. Check it out after the video, link in the description below. So yeah, guys, this weekend was Watches and Wonders. A little bit of a weird event because they told us all they would be releasing Saturday at 7 a.m., but they really released most of their watches on Friday. So, I'll give them a pass because it's their first online release, but they basically gave everybody the wrong date, which was a little frustrating. And of course, the webpage was crashing and hard to load on Saturday when everybody was trying to go there. But they got their kinks worked out. I think next year, with the mistakes from this year, next year, hopefully, they're not going to need to do an online-only release. But, it was a little rocky, but at the end, it was pretty good. And every brand, a lot of brands, not every brand, but it's basically SIHH with a few extra brands. And there were some very cool watches released. I'm also going to make a video in a couple of days of the biggest losers of Watches and Wonders, but I want to let those watches marinate in my mind a little bit before I call them a dud. However, some very cool watches released, and pretty hard to pick the winners, but I'm going to start with an honorable mention of Vacheron Constantin with their overseas perpetual calendar, their new astronomical pieces, some new color schemes in the 56. They almost made it into this list, but I think that a very strong showing. However, most of their the price ranges for the releases are on the high side, so I don't know how much commercial effect it's going to have for them, but overall, a very good showing. Now we're going to go with IWC. Now, what I like about IWC is they changed a few of their collections around. Some new complications in the Yacht Club series, along with a bracelet option, which, that always brings new buyers to the table, and a new movement in their Portuguese. All in all, IWC looked to be hard at work, and they had some pretty good releases. Next is the brand I almost put at number 1, and I'm pretty sure most people would put them at number 1, but not me. That is Jaeger LeCoultre. They overhauled their Master Control series, a series that I didn't know needed an overhaul because it had a lot of options and was pretty classically styled. But basically, all the cases got a very minor refresh, which arguably look better. I don't really see much of a difference, but they put in the effort. They updated a lot of their movements, particularly the time-only movement, and they came out with a very cool complicated watch, which is the triple calendar chronograph. Now guys, if you really think about it, calendar chronographs in the high end usually come in perpetual calendars, which make them very, very expensive. And on the low end, they use Valjoux 7751s, which are cam operated. Here we have a column wheel chronograph without the perpetual, which actually makes the price very, very reasonable for what you get. And it's got that uber complicated look. I don't know, I think this is a great value play from JLC, even though I can't help but believe that their new calf straps are cost cutting on their part because it's cheaper than Gator. Even though nowadays with the hipsters, those bands are kind of popular, they're definitely saving a few bucks. So that's kind of the one thing that kind of bothered me. However, fantastic watch releases. But number one for me, and I might get shit for it, but before you give me shit for it, think about it for a second. It's a brand I've talked about positively, but it's a brand that basically disappeared, has been irrelevant for years. However, they released the best watch of the show, in my opinion. That is Baume Mercier. Baume Mercier released their, in a Clifton case, the Baumatic Moonphase. So here we have a 5-day power reserve automatic in-house movement made by Richemont with a Moonphase in an extremely stylish case with a retail price of $3,800. Now, yes, guys, remember, retail price isn't actually what they sell for. Oh, but you can get a Longines for $1,500. Sure you can, but the Longines is also originally $3,800 and then discounted heavily on the gray market. So take these prices with a pinch of salt. Nobody pays, or very few people pay full-blown retail. But at a full-blown retail price of $3,800, with that 5-day power reserve, it can be COSC certified, the Baumatic movements, and a Moonphase, and it's an exclusive in-house movement. I think, and apart from the fact that I think it's just a drop-dead gorgeous watch, it's fantastic. Fantastic. It's like a Jaeger Master Moon with worse finishing, longer power reserve, and less than half the price. I mean, how could you beat that? I don't know. Now, they also updated the Hampton series with a Moonphase and a dual time. However, that uses, I believe, an ETA Ebosh, so not necessarily the Baumatic movement. Baume Mercier has also been quietly releasing perpetual calendars and watches in precious metals, which I think is an extremely hard sell for them. But it's more than peacocking, kind of showing off that they can still make awesome watches. But I think this watch, with this movement at this price, even though it's a little niche with the Moonphase, I don't know, man. I'm really in love with it. And, you know, I think I may have to get one myself. I don't know if it's going to be a keeper, but I'm definitely going to add one to the collection, at least to play around with for a little bit. So yeah, guys, those are the winners. I mean, there's a few few honorable mentions. As I said, Vacheron, honorable mention. Cartier with the new Tank Asymétrique. Excuse my awful French. Also very, very interesting. But there's also a few brands that I think did particularly poorly. And I'm going to keep that for a separate video once I make up my mind who really belongs on that list. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. It really does help. And please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.